Okay, so I'll start with XRP, and we're having a bit of a roller coaster. Excuse me. Generally, that's a sign that we're coming close to a move. And if I just show you a general pattern here, you see this pattern here, yeah? Is you'll see in the final phase that I was pointing this out a couple of times recently, yeah. Is you get this final phase where you gotta from here you get a lift, you get a drop, you get another lift. Does a double top, doesn't break it, which just happened here. Oh, and we still have drilling going on upstairs, so if it gets a bit loud, I apologize in advance. Yeah. So you've got this lift here, a drop. Ah, there we go. And then, so this pattern, yeah. Now again, that's if it's breaking down. Is you see this movement here, yeah. So on a bigger scale, for the bigger breakout, is if I copy this and I put this here. So look, there's that bottom, there's that top, then here's the bottom. So there's the bottom there. Here is the top. There's the top there. It looks like it's going to come back down to do at least a 786. It might go a little deeper. Then back up one last time. And then if we're heading down, is down. And it's the same pattern as this here. It's just on a bigger scale, which indicates it's a bigger move. That it will potentially, well, it'll be this arc, the middle arc. So you see the smaller one, the second one, and this blue one is a bigger one, yeah, much bigger one. It's the breakout of this one. It'll be the small breakout, but also the medium breakout as well, yeah. Now the same pattern, you can see the same pattern here. Just to, and I could keep going and finding a lot of them lately. So you can see it here. There it is there. Here's the lift. Wasn't such a double top this time. It dropped down. One final lift up. And then, I got this mixed up. I think this should be down here. This up here, yeah. So there we go. So you can see a very clear breakout pattern is playing out here, yeah. Now that's if it's breaking down. At some point we're going to have the break up. So we could be breaking up here, yeah. So I think this is what's happening, yeah. Until it's not. So that's what I'm following at the moment, yeah. Now when I zoom in closer, is, well, on the arcs, sorry, is on this middle arc. You've got skyline here, you've got mountain peak, you've got final peak. So you've got your three peaks here, yeah. You've got third spike here. These signs, these here, I'll actually take these away because these are for the blue. These are for the much bigger ones, so they might be a little bit distracting. Is you've got third spike here. First drop is third drop. So you've got your three bottoms here. So final peak, final bounce, final retrace, and then the breakout. So that's the pattern of it, yeah. In the smaller one is you've got your skyline here, which is mountain peak on the bigger one. Because if you think about fractals, fractal is the same image, the same pattern, just layered in different timelines, different scales. and it's same but different. All the same touches, but you know they move around a little bit, but they're all the same. You'll always have a skyline. You always have the top. There's a mountain peak. We're looking for our final peak. Here is excuse me. Here is third spike. Is first drop. We're looking for our third drop here, and again, final peak, final bounce, final retrace, and again the breakout at a small arc as well. Yeah, that's what it seems like to me, and it fits in with the breakout pattern. It fits in with this breakout pattern that I was showing you. Yeah. Now, what's going on when we zoom in is a lot of volatility yesterday. We had this lift up to mountain peak. We had this drop, fast drop down, and it went to it went on the fibs. I got caught a little bit of sleep here yesterday. It went down in 2 4-hour candles, and it didn't hit the 786. It hit the 702 and wicked a little bit past it. Yeah. And I was thinking that, okay, let's do a little bit of a retrace and it's going to continue on down. Okay, then they kept going up and I said, okay, it's going up. Now, maybe it's looking like it's a bear flag. I said, no, fecker keeps going up. So bear flag for another leg down here. But no, keeps going up. And I went up so far that when you get this movement coming down so fast and coming up, it clearly to me looks like an A, B, C. So an A, B, C correction here, yeah? And the A, B, C correction means that it's going to break below 0 here. So this is the impulse. And an A, B, C, when it's like this, means it's going to break below this. So you take the fibs and you reverse them and you put them like this. So from top to bottom, so you go from B to A. So you've got the drop down A, B, and then C coming down. So you go from B to A, and then you follow the fibs down. And the general one you look for is, is the 618. 1618. That's the general space you would look at. Now, XRP likes its 786 as well, but I reckon the range most likely will be between, I'd say, 3150. I think 3150. I'll actually do this. Sorry, I'll do the 618. My apologies. I think the range is going to be between about 3150 and 3050. I'd say that's the basic range that it's gonna land in. Yeah. Excuse me. So that's for now. Listen, it could come up short and land here as well. So you just got to watch it as it goes down. Yeah. Equally, if I'm wrong, is this correction here might just come down to a 786. So I'm super cautious. I'm super cautious when it hits 3510. And again, I'm mindful that sometimes you get a breakout where the pattern I was describing can get broken, where you just get a smaller correction and then up it goes, and we could have our breakout to the upside, yeah. Because it's just price action is just playing the edge so much. It's like a murder mystery. Who done it? Which way is it going to go? You know. And partly why I'm saying that is you can see the bear channel all the way down, and then this center line is this center line all the way down, and through these arcs here, look, rejected, and now it's broke through. So now you could make, I was going to say make an argument, but it's not an argument, it's just clearly what it is it broke above the line this time, it back tested it, came up again, excuse me, so there could be a shallow correction here and then a fuller breakout. And sometimes you get the breakout after a mountain peak. You don't necessarily, you get it very tight. This could be a third drop, final peak, final bounce, a little bit of a retrace, and then up it goes. It all gets very compacted rather than getting played out more. So that could, I I've seen that happen before, so I'm just super cautious about that as well. Yeah, but I do believe that we're going to come down for a bounce off around 31.50 or so, come back up to 38, and then potentially we're looking for the spill down. Equally is at any point it could come down and do a 786, even shallower, but I think it's going to get 786, and it could just decide to head on up. So if it heads on up, we get a breakout. Let me just do this here. It heads on down 786 or so. We get a breakout, and it'll either bounce off 42 or 45 or so. We get a little bit of a back test, and then it will head on up. Yeah. So I'm mindful we could get something like that, and if it is, we'll be heading up to Jesus, my apologies. We'll be heading on up to, I would say, about 58. About 58 or so up here, yeah. And again, you can see that would be, you see this bigger arc? This would be mountain peak on the bigger arc. And we will be breaking out of the bear channel, and we'll come back and back test it, and it will fail, and we'll come back down and do third drop, final peak, final bounce, and we'll be playing out in this zone, and then we'll have our lift up, yeah. So that's our way out, and it will play out this bigger arc. If it does go down, I reckon we're heading down to, I think there's two stages. One is about 25.50. There's one about 25.50, and then there's another stage at about 1970. And what they are, it's the 702 and the 702 and the 786 on the macro, which I'll just show you now. Yeah. So now on the way down, I'll take the fib from the very top, and again, here's the bottom of the previous bear market. So I'm measuring all of these impulses, all this impulse, all the way up here, and then the correction. So this is the whole previous bull run and bear market. Well, not previous, the one we're in now, yeah. So when you zoom in, if it does spill down, and we do break out, you can see it's been bouncing along the 618. It wicked down to the 065, bouncing along all this phase here is bouncing along the 618 to the 238. Oh no, that's a previous one. So if it spills out, and we get a proper spill, you can see the 702 is down at 25.30. And if it wants to go all the way to the 786, we have 1980 or so. And you can see that would match in with coming down to the bottom of this channel again, yeah, bottom of the bear channel. So potentially, that's where it could go, even a little lower if I wanted. So we're getting closer and closer to decision time. If it does come down, then this blue arc this drop down would be third spike. This would be the bottom, third spike, and then we'd be heading up a double top, first drop, mountain peak. This would become much bigger, mountain peak, third drop again, and we'd be playing out in this zone, and we'd eventually break this line proper, and then we're on our way up. Yeah, we're out of the bottom and we're heading up. Yeah, so that's it. That's the play of it as I think it's going to play out. So now, where is the trade for today? Where is the trade for today? Let me click into here. Yeah, this is going sideways here. actually I'll go into the MAs, yeah. And we'll go to the hour. Okay. So now this has gone sideways. Now the reason why it's taken its time is because you see when the VWAP, the yellow line, comes up like this, is that its resistance, but it can only come down as far as the hour's turn. So every time there's an hour turn, like the 8 hour turn there at 50 minutes ago, and you can see the VWAP went sideways. But when I go to the 9 hour, because the 9 hour hasn't turned, you'll see the VWAP is straight up. So when the 9 hour turns, again, it will go sideways. And it's going to do that all the way up to 12 o'clock, which is my time. It'll be 2 hours and 10 minutes, yeah? And that will turn sideways. And then what happens is that now price action is free to start moving down. So it's like the MA, or not the MA, the VWAP will hold price action at a level until it's able to actually move on down and let price action move on down. So I don't think we're going to get a bigger move down until we start for the next 2 hours or so. Yeah, next 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. So now where's the entry point? If I look at the 1 hour, is what we'll be looking for is the 5 and the 10 or price action to break the 50. See the 50 here? There's the 50 MA. Now price action will break it first, but what you really want to see is the orange, the 5 MA crossing through the 50, and you're getting a proper confirmation of the reverse here, the drop. The only thing about that is that by the time that happens, is price action probably going to be much lower. So, and because it's a tight space, it's moving in a tight space. So another way to check it is that on the EMAs, on the top left is the 5 minutes. So you can see the topped out here. The first drop down was the 5 crossing over. You see it going sideways. Is the bigger drop down is you get on the 15 minute, which is top right. So when you see the 15 minute, the 20 EMA here, crossing down the 55, the blue one here, is when you see that getting closer, when you see that crossing over, that's a good indication that we're now going for a bigger spill, yeah? And generally that's going to be at least a 6% move, yeah? So a 6% move from there will be 6 or 7% move there, but there's 6%. Take us back down to where the 15 minute crossed over on the way up, yeah? So back down to about, again, 35, 37. And 786 is 35.10, I think it is, something like that, yeah? So that will give us the 786 target. Now you got to remember is we're potentially looking at an ABC, so you might find that it just pushes through. Is if you're going to hold on to C, you want to see it break below the previous high. So you want to see it break 34. If you see it breaking below 34, is then the ABC is looking like it's on, and is you just follow the fibs down, and you're looking for 3 steps down. Same thing, 3 steps down, 3 steps up, 1, 2, 3, 3 steps down. So you'll see that play out in the pattern as well. Yeah. Okay. So now let me just look at one thing here, just to give you a clearer figure, and the clearer figure is, where's this here? The 55 EMA is at 37.60. Okay, so 37.60 or so is you want to see the white, the 20 cross through the 55. And again, we just got to be careful that there can be a bit of sideways going on. So it might cross over, you might not get an immediate response, or you might. But you'll see when it starts to cross over, it's a pretty good indication that price action is going to start heading down, yeah? So 37.60. So let's go back onto this chart here, yeah? I'll put 37.60 here. So 37.60. 60. There you go. There you go. Look, I already have a mark on it there. Yeah. So now look at it in look within price action. You've got it's already dropped down. It's back up. It's playing along this, and you're looking for a clear. You want to see the 20 cross the 55 around the 37.60, and if you look at it, maybe you want to feel a bit safer about the trade. Is look at where price action has already come to. Price action has already come to the lowest point is 37.06. So now if you see the 20 crossing over the 55 at 37.60, and at the same time wait for price action to break 37.05, which is the previous low. So when you see it breaking 37.05, that's telling you that it's going to head down further. So that's a good time to go in on a short, yeah. And again, you want to watch for 35.09, potentially heading all the way down to 31.50, possibly a little lower to 30, yeah, or so, 30.50. So that's me. Good luck with your trade today, and I will talk to you later.
Good morning, guys. Let's see where we are today. Now, yes, okay. Good thing that Roy started sharing with this S&P page. Here's where we yesterday when we had the session in the morning and the trade setups. I told you that I could see the S&P going back up to back test this yellow line, which has nearly happened. It hasn't touched it, but the move yesterday was to the up because everything was floored, and generally when a support line that was a double bottom support line previously breaks, it is back tested, and that back test is essential to make the move down more sustainable. Basically, there's a lot more liquidity that's freed up to the upside, and then we can go lower in our levels. And I believe the S&P will reach the second level one more time, and that will reflect what's happening in the world of crypto as well. So even though percentages are much lower for the S&P, the moves are still the same. So I'm going to start today with a Bitcoin to show you what I mean. Now, here was on the daily structure. We are how can I say? We're playing the space between two channels. So there's the long descending one from the all-time high, and then there's the short-term ascending one, which it broke out of, but it hasn't yet met its technical target, which can mean one thing, it will meet it, but it came up to backtest the channel, and now it's going to come down. I don't believe there's any, for us, there's any chance, let me tone it down a little bit. I believe the more likely move is to come down, meet the target of this channel. Again, the double bottom for Bitcoin is 17,500, but the technical target that I measured yesterday, including the two overflow areas, is around 17K. Bitcoin could definitely come down to as low as 16.5, still hold a level of support, and from there onwards come up and maybe again backtest the top line of the descending channel, which would be in line with the play of the swings. So far we've only had, again, if I'm not taking the overflow, the yellow line into account, we've had 2 full swings to the upside in this descending channel. We still need 1 for a breakout. So that's in terms of what happened with the stock market yesterday, coming back up to test the support line. This is what Bitcoin did on the local levels. I had 2 levels that I was keeping my eye out for yesterday, and I was saying that I'm going to use them not for long opportunities, but for short building opportunities. So one level was the 19K that it broke. It came back and back tested. it held and then came up to an intermediary one, 19.5. The two bigger ones that I watched yesterday were the 19K and the 20K. This is where I have my DCAs in for the short on the way down. It hasn't yet reached the 20K. If it does, it would be a great, to me, a great opportunity to come down and follow it down to the technical target of the channel at 17K. It would be a beautiful trade to make. It would be also a 14% drop. So that's where I believe we might be, the space we might be in today. The 1 hour stochastic is close to the bottom, so we might see a rehabilitation in the coming hours until New York starts. Now there is some FOMC news tomorrow, which could bring very high volatility in the market. Sometimes it pumps, sometimes it dumps. It doesn't really matter whether the information is good or bad. Here the information was good, inflation was slightly dropping, but the market still started dropping. According to my my arc patterns, we would, so this would be, if this were the if this here, the double top, if this were mountain peak, if this had been the third drop, this would be final peak, final bounce, final retrace, and then the breakout. So we would be getting into a smaller space here, and I believe we still have another drop to the down, at least the 18.2, and if that breaks, if the previous bottom breaks, then we're coming down for the 17K. That's what I would be trading, the drop down. There is at the moment, if I'm checking on the MAs, there is no support on any of the EMAs, the 50, the 20, the 55 and the 20, or the VWAP. Bitcoin yesterday did a 702 retracement, and now it's resting on the 0.5, and I believe that's gonna break. But it did do an impulse up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and now we'll be looking at this correction. And if I am to measure this correction, there we go. 786 would be 18.5. So there's our more specific answer. This would be, if this were the final peak, this would be a very small final peak, as is right now. If this were final peak, if it breaks the 786, and then if it breaks the bottom of the impulse, chances are we'll be coming lower for deeper corrections. And again, we have the 2272, which I believe is in line with our daily level, which is what this did. So this impulse here, let me check. This baby impulse. I know it looks small, but that's this. I'm just gonna show you a repeated level here. There we go. So this impulse here took us, this baby impulse, super tiny, took us to the bottom of the arc, where we should have gone with the third drop, with a 2272 correction. So we might see the same thing happening with this impulse, taking us down to the daily level of 16.5 with its 2272 correction. This could happen. So to make the long story short, we might see a little bit more of a lift / sideways today, for the 1 hour stochastic to rehabilitate itself a little bit higher. We need to have a bit more breather there on the stochastic, but we don't have any support for any reversal on Bitcoin so far, and to me it doesn't look like we're gonna get it until we hit the daily levels. The big level that I was watching for, yesterday was the 19.7, which would have turned the previous support back into support, so it would have gone back into the structure. So had Bitcoin reached the 20K, it would have turned this level back into support, but it didn't do it. So it didn't get there. It back tested it, which is great for the shorts. It back tested it, and now it's lost support. It's turned the 5, the 10, and the 20 up above the 50 on the 1 hour. And if these guys continue down, it's going to give it a nice push down. I say a nice lift down. I was like, there's no lift. Nice push down. Nice energy down. So that's where Bitcoin is. It seems to be a little bit clearer in pattern than XRP. It has a little bit more of a it didn't do a wild recovery like XRP. Let's see where Ethereum is. Ethereum finally yesterday it did the drop to this line 1280. Now the stochastic on the daily is floored, so I don't like seeing it like that, and I don't like to see it the way it's turned up. Now Ethereum is one step ahead, so this is where basically I'm saying Bitcoin is gonna get with its 17K. Ethereum is already there, resting on that level of support. However, Ethereum has broken out of this 4-hour structure, and when it breaks out of this 4-hour structure, it might take a week or two for the technical target to be met, but it hasn't yet broken back into it. So if I'm watching in a 4-hour pattern, how can I say, structure, a space, until price action picks up so high as to break back above this support line and turn it back into support, because at the moment it hasn't even back tested it. I don't see any potential for movement upwards, even though the stochastic on the daily looks quite intent on crossing upwards, but it might have been just the recent price action. Stochastic RSI follows the immediate moves quite closely. We don't have any support for Ethereum on the 4-hour. Again, I tend to believe that again yesterday's lift was a great short building opportunity rather than longing opportunity, because again the trend is down. There is no support on the 4-hour. Let me just zoom in and see. It didn't even touch the 20 on the 4-hour. There's descending volume in numbers as well. So we have I don't have too much positive news to say. We reached the first level yesterday when we were planning the trades. I told you that I see a backtest of the 55 on the 1-hour. There it is, happened exactly to the line that I put in yesterday. I think we were somewhere around here, and we came up here. Now at the moment, this is the channel that Ethereum looks like it's broken out of. Now this is tricky because all channels have a little bit of an overflow area, and I think this is this channel's overflow area. So we haven't moved past the 55 on the 1-hour to say, oh, we have support on the 1-hour and we're going up to meet the target of the channel, which is 1520. It's not that. We have gone nowhere. We've done a lower high, which is not good. And basically what we're doing here is, I believe we're coming down for a correction. We've done a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Now we're going to come down for a correction. And this correction is going to bring us back into this channel. And this channel has 1, 2, 3 touches to the top, 1, 2, 3 touches to the bottom. It looks like it's complete, but Ethereum loves long channels. So I have seen 4 swings up and 4 swings down very, very frequently in Ethereum. Again, the 1 hour stochastic, as with Bitcoin, is quite low to the bottom. The RSI is crossing the midline. So when the RSI crosses the midline, momentum tilts down quite significantly, and there tends to be quite a drop. Again, in line with the impulse that it did yesterday, we could have a retracement of 786, which would bring us again back into the channel somewhere around here. And after that retracement, could it lift up and gain a little bit of momentum upwards before another big move down? Yes, it could. But so far we don't have, as long as we don't have any support on the bigger time frames, the more likely move is to the downside. I don't see for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, I don't see a move to the upside until this correction of this impulse is done. When this correction is done and we have some structure, when this correction will happen, what we'll see with it is the MAs will be coming down for the correction. And that's when price action has the opportunity of getting above the MAs and getting some support. If at this correction down, because we have to take all possibilities into account, if at this correction, the 786 or the 702, one of these levels, if at this correction price action goes above the 1 hour or the 20 EMA or the 55 EMA, then yes, we can say we have some support on the 1 hour. Once we gain support on the 1 hour, we'll be watching the 4 hour, and the 4 hour will of course have had its MAs pulled down as well by the correction. That's why corrections are so important, and that's how they can help with the lift, because they bring the MAs closer to price action, and price action can move above them. So if we come down to a correction and that correction establishes a higher low and a 1-2 on the way up, happy days, we might be going up again for a little bit more volatility. Again, I'm not, my opinion is we still need another drop in Bitcoin, we still need another drop in Ethereum. That will happen sooner or later. So this would be a level for the double bottom for Ethereum, and this would be a level 3 correction for Ethereum. So I believe we're still going to be moving down in the long term, as in a month, 2 months. Again, I'm not great with long-term projections in terms of time, but the levels happen. So we'll see today / tomorrow what happens at this swing correction, and this is where I'll be watching my Bitcoin short and my XRP short, because I'm in 2 shorts for both of those. And if I see the correction just coming down to a higher low, or just gaining support on the way up, I will be taking my profits and sitting it out and seeing what's going to happen in tomorrow's volatility, because tomorrow is said to be very eventful in terms of price action. Generally, FOMC days are very eventful. So again, long story short, for Ethereum, we have met our retracement targets and recovery targets quite nicely. Ethereum so much easier to TA than XRP in terms of levels, and at the moment, we are outside of the channel, but we're not going anywhere. The trade for today would be a short for the retracement of the swing. It wouldn't necessarily be a very deep short from where we are right now down to here. It would be about 30%, still worth it in my opinion. But we could be, I would stay in that short until I would see what happens with when it meets the 786 correction. If it breaks it and comes lower, happy days. We are probably coming lower and breaking out downwards. that's me. That's me for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be posting the TA, just a little bit of a refresher TA on the chats, and I'll keep you updated if I see any nice moves happening during the New York session. Have a good time today and trade carefully.